The Attorney General responds to Robert Mueller. I'm Nicole Killian with his exclusive comments, plus the president's new attack on the special counsel.
A road closure in Manhattan is stirring up some complaints with its citizens. Find out the latest details and what the mayor has to say about it.
Not one, not two, but 8 kids have been declared winners of the Scripps National Spelling Bee. I'm Laura Podesta with why this unprecedented victory was allowed to happen.
And they're not going to split the cup.
No, the Scripps, our parent company's doing the right thing. They're going to give all of them $50,000.
Isn't that incredible?
I love that. Nice job.
Incredible story.
Shout out
and a bunch
from one
of
of your own.
smart kids.
There
Yeah,
you go.
We're going to get to that story here in a little bit. But our top story here at 6:30 on your Friday morning, President Trump had more to say about Special Counsel Robert Mueller's first and possibly last public statement about the Russia probe.
And for the first time, the Attorney General is reacting to an exclusive interview. CBS's Nicole Killian reports this morning from the White House.
President Trump lashed out at special counsel Robert Mueller the day after Mueller said his own role in the Russia probe is complete.
I think he is a total conflicted person. I think Mueller is a true never-Trumper. He's somebody that dislikes Donald Trump.
Mueller said Wednesday he did not clear the president of obstruction of justice.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so.
The president had a different opinion.
Well, there was no collusion. There was no collusion. Read volume 1. There was no collusion.
In an exclusive interview with CBS this morning, Attorney General William Barr told Jan Crawford he was surprised when he first learned Mueller would not make the call on obstruction, citing Justice Department policy against charging a sitting president.
I personally felt he could have reached a decision.
In your view, he could have reached a conclusion?
Right, he could have reached a conclusion.
Well, I mean, he seemed to suggest yesterday that there was another venue for this, and that was Congress.
Well, I'm not sure what he was suggesting, but, you know, the Department of Justice doesn't use our powers of investigating crimes as an adjunct to Congress.
President Trump also dismissed the notion that House Democrats could begin impeachment proceedings against him.
To me, it's a dirty word, the word impeach. It's a dirty, filthy, disgusting word.
The president asked how Congress could impeach him when he had committed no crime. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Now, excuse me, Mueller's comments Wednesday turned up the pressure on leading congressional Democrats to address growing calls from rank-and-file members to start that impeachment process.
Got you all choked up there.
Yeah. Happy Friday.
I don't know where my voice went at that
I'll
point.
tell you what it is. It's the smoke that's floating through the air. Man, it's
it is happening.
Yeah, it's a thing already. Mainly holding into the 40s early on, 28 out toward West Yellowstone. It does look like we're going to be dealing with a little bit of smoke from time to time, but also maybe some showers and thunderstorms as you get into the mid part of the afternoon. Off and on showers and thunderstorms likely as we get later into the day, but man, the weather's going to remain beautiful as we head into the weekend. We'll talk more about that, of course, in just a few minutes.
Good, because you told me to get my car washed, and so I finally did. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Not on Friday, though.
It's 6:33. Our top story for you here. Locally, Senator Jon Tester is continuing his efforts to save Montana's Job Corps program with the new bill.
The bill prevents the closure or transfer of the Anaconda and Trapper Creek Job Corps civilian conservation centers. You'll remember the Trump administration announced a plan just last week to close the Anaconda Job Corps Center, ending its partnership with the Department of Agriculture. Senator Tester says these programs are too important to be cut.
Make no mistake about it. This decision will lead to an immediate loss of jobs in rural America, and it will undermine economic development in communities like Anaconda and the Bitterroot Valley in Montana alone moving forward. And that is why we have to act.
We can't allow these critical programs to be shut down, privatized, or repurposed. Our young people, our businesses, and our country have way too much to lose.
And the bill would also prevent the use of government funds to close any Job Corps center in the country for at least the next 2 years.
In other news this morning, a closed road just north of Manhattan is becoming a pain for those trying to get around it.
The developers behind the Pioneer Crossing have been working on Nixon Gulch Road for about 3 weeks, making a detour that many say is a problem. MTN's Cody Boyer has the latest on Nixon Gulch Road and what the town is doing to make the situation better.
If it's bouncing my truck around, I can only imagine what it's doing to, the ordinary vehicles.
Big orange close signs blockade about 2,000 feet of Nixon Gulch Road. That's enough to cause some headache for those who use it every day, like attorney at law James Greenbaum.
There's a tremendous amount of vehicle traffic that uses Nixon Road. It's a very important thoroughfare for, obviously, just for the residents, the commercial traffic, the contractors.
But Greenbaum says the buck stopped with the bigger orange detour signs.
We were told it was going to be 2-3 weeks. We're detoured onto a really beat up road that goes through a cow pasture, no improvements whatsoever.
And on Memorial Day weekend, there seemed to be no work at all.
The straw that broke the camel's back in my mind, because there were no trucks, no workers whatsoever, and the road was still closed.
It's the town's road, but Pioneer Crossing is doing all the work on the road.
Manhattan Mayor Glenn Clement says Pioneer Crossing's project, while lengthy, will bring some much-needed improvement.
There's significant improvements along Nixon Gulch Road as far as storm drainage and safety, having that curb and gutter. So we're going to have a better product in the end.
Well, I could see where the frustration might come from finding a road closed sign. Mayor Clement does say that while normal traffic that relies on Nixon Gulch will have to be rerouted to a lesser used road, it won't last long.
I know there's some frustration out there. Nixon Gulch Road is going to see a lot of improvement, and then also we kind of, as a freebie, we're getting Greenspur Road improved and built up to standards.
After receiving several emails from Greenbaum, Clement says change is coming, including work to the detour route, Greenspur Road. That was done today, something Greenbaum and others noticed, and not only that.
He has agreed to move forward in a very positive direction. We're very pleased to know that they're actually going to consider an ordinance for dealing with this in the future.
Manhattan's going to follow suit and try to implement their own official policies.
In Manhattan, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Now, the mayor tells MTN that the ordinance will come up at the next town meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. June 12th. The project itself is expected to be completed within the next 2 weeks.
In Mining City headlines this morning, Butte's long-awaited homeless shelter finally has an opening date. Butte Rescue Mission is set to open its new 56-bed homeless shelter located on the end of East Platinum Street on June 12th. Rescue Mission has been working on getting the new shelter open for more than 2 years after the original shelter on East 2nd Street was shut down due to fire code violations.
I am so thankful that we're to this point. You know, sometimes in the darkest moments, you don't think that you're ever going to make it to this point, and we've gotten here, and it's a great feeling to know that we've come this far.
Now, we are told the shelter will have a ribbon-cutting ceremony on June 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning. Public welcome to come and tour the new facility.
It's been a long time
Absolutely
coming.
true.
No
Congratulations.
doubt about it.
That's good to have that wrapped up.
Yes, no kidding. 6:37 here, and we were saying this a moment ago. You know that saying, everyone is a winner?
Yeah, literally. That's actually the case from last night's Scripps National Spelling Bee, which aired last night on ESPN. As CBS News' Laura Podesta explains, 8 finalists, all won.
They will forever be remembered as the Elite 8.
Not 1, not 2, but 8 kids have been declared winners of the Scripps National Spelling Bee. This is the first group to share the coveted title in the event's nearly century-long history.
We're throwing the dictionary at you. And so far, you are showing this dictionary who is boss.
By the Bee's 17th round, judges told the super spellers they were running out of words that would challenge them and had decided the competition would continue for just 3 more rounds. He was right. Not one of the 8 struggled to spell out their final words.
Y-L-I-C-O-W.
Even if they had to share this momentous moment on stage, the co-champions, who range in age from 12 to 14, will not have to split up their winnings.
Each of you will be getting a Scripps Cup and, of course, the full $50,000 cash prize.
They'll also receive trips to New York and Hollywood to appear on talk shows in the coming weeks. And they've won reference books, even though it's clear these kids deserve a break from studying. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Wow.
That's awesome. By the way, from 2014 to 2016, the Bee ended with co-champions. Aaron Howard, one of last night's winners, said a possible solution for future Bees is adding a definition question in addition to the spelling. Again, that is our parent company that has been doing that, our new parent company, Scripps. Congratulations, and I think it's awesome that they decided to award $50,000 to all of them instead of splitting it up 8
Absolutely.
ways. I think that's awesome.
The kids, well deserved.
I saw somewhere in Twitter that Webster's tweeted out, "You got me."
Really?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah,
I love when they say,
who runs a Twitter account for Webster's Dictionary? But
we're
that's
throwing
what
the
they said.
dictionary at you and you're showing the dictionary who's boss. That's
it.
unbelievable.
Nicely done, all 8 of you. In fact, all of you competed. Well done.
No kidding, no kidding. We do have to take a quick break. Welcome to your last Friday for the month of May.